truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done, but I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies, but I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the pushing low, fading in the spotlight. That's how it goes. Yeah. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment, let my soul quake. Plays a part in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
It's the one and only queen of receipts, is dropping gems in these YouTube streets. The lawyer Royce, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Get your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Okay, likes up. All right, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay. Hello, Claudette, Lillian X, Nessa G, Luna is here, Marcus, above all that drama, giggles, overthoughts, Claudette, Broken Silence is here. All right. Shout out to everyone in the chat, everyone tuned into the Queen, and shout out to my moderators for putting in work. And so, you guys, this is nothing new. This is nothing surprising. Courtney Burgess is being sued by Diddy. Didn't I tell you all he was going to get sued? Didn't I, in fact, tell you all that he was going to get sued? Him and his nefarious attorney, Ariel Mitchell. Okay? So now let's talk about it. Lily said, Queen, I was just trying to catch up with what I missed from this morning. Okay? Overthought said, I hope Diddy sues Courtney into a pauper's grave. Not a pauper's grave, beloved. You are so nefarious, okay? So let's talk about it because this just in from TMZ. And shout out to Desmond for sending me this because I was about to watch Netflix. Please pay attention. But, like I said, I'm not surprised because those lies he was telling, honey, at the end of the day, and you know what they should do? People should not only be suing these liars who lie, but they should be suing the podcasters who entertain their lies and bring them on their channels. Now, that's just my opinion. They should sue them as well when they bring them on there knowing that they're lying and giving them platform to sit there and spew their lies and foolishness. Okay? And so, with that all been said, let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Okay? Hey, pretty wings. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes oil for your hair at Etsy.com. You just have to look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. Hey, Auntie Leah, it's all nefarious, so let's talk about it. Diddy suing witness lawyer for defamation, social media protagonist, and citing frenzy. Now, here's what they're saying. Diddy is going after a grand jury witness and a lawyer he claims have been spreading lies about him, accusing him of fabricating stories for media attention. The disgraced mogul is suing Courtney Burgess, a man who appeared as a witness for the grand jury, and Ariel Mitchell, who is Burgess's lawyer, for spreading what he says are outlandish claims and baseless speculation to feed the public's desire for wild lies. Well, he needs to go after Lamisha Fuller and Adria English next. Needs to go after them next. Let's see what goes on with that. Now, Diddy fired back at some specific claims in the lawsuit as well, calling out Burgess for alleging that he possesses video of the star sexually assaulting celebrities and minors. The rapper insists that no such tapes exist and says Burgess and Mitchell are simply telling blatant falsehoods or making recklessly false statements. Now, Diddy's also firing back at Courtney's claim that he received Kim Porter's memoir directly from her, okay? Saying those closest to Porter, like her children and her roommate for more than 20 years, have never even heard of him. Now, as we told you, Diddy's children previously sent a cease and desist letter warning Burgess about releasing the Kim Porter book. Diddy suing Burgess, Mitchell, and the company behind News Nation for defamation and is asking for at least $50 million. Speaking of News Nation, we're going to go back to that video where they were interviewed on there, okay? And I believe this was the day that they left court. Now, do you all remember how, and I told you all Ariel Mitchell was so shysty to me, and that all the clients that she seems to have seem to be nothing but liars who lie, okay, which makes me question her ethical practices as an attorney. And then remember when she was talking about someone was wanting her to help them sell that book or sell some videotapes or whatever. I just thought that was, just basically showed me or led me to think that for someone to be asking an attorney about something like that, that they clearly didn't take her serious and didn't think that she was ethical. And that's just my opinion. Now, they say we've reached out to Ariel, who tells TMZ, saying this is just a pathetic ploy to silence victims and people who stand up for victims. What victim was Courtney Burgess standing up for? And he's not a victim. So she sounds crazy. Ploy to silence victims and those who stand up for him. He wasn't standing up for anybody. He was grifting. Well, let me continue. And he tried to act like he was doing this for Tupac. Okay, and Tupac's deceased. And Tupac likely didn't even know him. Then second of all, he acted like he was doing it for Kim, who's also deceased. But if he was doing anything for Kim's name, he wouldn't have been sitting there telling lies. But let's continue. Now, Diddy has time to sue, but refuses to accept service for the lawsuits already filed against him, mind you. Oh, nefarious. I look forward to countersuing and ensuring the court punishes not only Diddy, but also his lawyers who filed this pathetic lawsuit for this frivolous and meritless filing, honey. That's what Ariel Mitchell said. Girl, this is not frivolous. You need to be sued. Okay, she needs to be disbarred as far as I'm concerned, because all the people that she deals with are nothing but liars who lie. And I think she, in fact, is a liar who lies. Okay, I just think she's a clout chaser. That's what I think that she is. Nothing but a foolish clout chaser who wants to desperately have media attention by tying herself to the Diddy case, no matter how she has to do so. Okay, getting all these nefarious clients, honey, like Adria Mitchell and Courtney Burgess, please. And that other lady from Oklahoma who told that story that doesn't even make sense to a fool. But anyway. Now let's get back into this video where they were interviewed on News Nation, because mind you, Diddy said he's suing the company behind News Nation as well, because supposedly because they aired this foolishness with all these lies. So let's get into it. Measurement said, "Oh, so nefarious." I know that's right, honey. This is all crazy, but I'm here for it. As messy as it is, I'm here for it, y'all. Okay, let's talk about it.
A federal grand jury. He says he was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freak-offs and parties. His name is Courtney Burgess, and he says a friend gave him 11 flash drives that belonged to the late Kim Porter. And if you follow this story, you'll know that Kim Porter is Diddy's ex-girlfriend and the mother of 4 of his kids. On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake. Courtney Burgess told his story on a podcast before he told the grand jury today, and after he told the grand jury, and I mean immediately after, he booked it over to my set, and he and his attorney talked to me. I should tell you that he was very limited in how much detail he could go into about his testimony. And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of sex crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them, famous or not. Here now is my conversation with Courtney Burgess and Ariel Mitchell, who's his attorney, beginning with the question of whether the participants in the video even knew they were being recorded. Were there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes. That's where it took place. Yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms.
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled. I knew that it was a camera there because I was there. You know, I wasn't there. I don't know if the person was too tall, he was holding it or whatever, but I wasn't there.
May I ask you this, Courtney? And Ariel, you can jump in on this as well, but I want to hear from Courtney first. Your home was raided by federal authorities, and I assume it is because of this material. Is that true?
I wouldn't say that. They just went to every one of them looking for me. They said, the paperwork said the 24th, that I had to be there the 28th, and then it was the 27th. I can't make it there. That's tomorrow. So I don't know. From the look of it, it was 4 days.
And I want to be specific. When we talk about a raid, we're talking about when a subpoena is served for documents, a search warrant, or an arrest warrant. In this situation, Mr. Burgess was not in any way, shape, or form had a search warrant or an arrest warrant issued for him. It was just them serving a subpoena. So when the federal government needs to serve a subpoena, they use the Marshal Service to come to all of your residences if you have more than one residence. So in this situation, they sent marshals to all of Mr. Burgess's residences, and that was somehow construed or understood or turned into a raid. But
it wasn't misconstrued and it wasn't turned into anything. Courtney lied, okay? So I want you all to pay attention. Courtney lied. He lied and said that they raided his house. That's what he said. Now, mind you, when he was on here telling his lies, remember, I had enough wherewithal to take down the video after I interviewed him, and I'm sitting there looking at him because I'm knowing that he's lying. And then I was like, oh, I'm not leaving this video up. So I took it down, put it on private. But he sat there, and remember, he told me that basically the feds had come and gotten the tapes from him 2 days prior, I think it was. He didn't say anything about a raid, but then on somebody else's channel, he said that he was raided, okay? And then when they asked to see the proof, he sent them like a subpoena. A subpoena and a raid are totally two different things. So he's just a liar who lies. She's sitting there trying to clean it up for him, but no, it's obvious he's lying, ma'am.
he did not face a raid. It was just to serve him the subpoena.
Ariel, do you believe that the subpoenas were issued and executed based on the federal authorities' knowledge that these flash drives existed and had this kind of compromising material?
I think it was based on statements that Mr. Burgess made in a prior interview.
And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Imagine a liar saying, to be honest. Isn't that something? But let's keep going.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were, all 8 were victimized,
Yeah.
meaning
Victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
2 to 3. Also on the flash drives, Courtney, was what looked to be a manuscript written by, it appears to be a woman who had taken Kim Porter's private journals and had written a book. Is that accurate?
We don't know.
I don't know
how. Yeah.
I don't know how, who wrote it, put it together, but it was from her when I spoke to her.
What you received on the flash drives, was it the completed book or was it notes from Kim Porter that later were made into a book?
It was completed. It's only 60.
Okay.
Just lying like a damn dog, because first of all, he sat there and told me off the record that he pressed it up and put it together. Okay. And then he's sitting there acting like he spoke to Kim and got it from her, but meanwhile said on another channel that he got the flash drives from Shakur Stewart, who died in 2008. I want y'all to pay attention. That's what he gets on his silly self. getting sued. Now, all that money that he made off that fake book, him and Chris Todd with his lying self, we're going to talk about him in a minute because he was on another show recently, about 5 days ago, doing an interview, and he was saying that Courtney lied about some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are just liars who lie. I hope he gets sued next.
Only about 54 pages.
Sure, and in the beginning, it says, Kim made me promise that if something happened to her, I would make sure this book became public to the world. The way Sean moved, I knew that was a promise I would have to fulfill. Kim knew I was a woman of my word, and this book was going to make it to print. So it sounds like it is a woman who wrote up the notes from Kim Porter. Does that sound accurate?
It's how you read it, yes. I haven't even read the book.
Do you know who the woman is?
No.
Now, you guys, you know, I'm laughing because in hindsight, you know, I knew he was lying, as I told you guys before, but now that we know so much more than we knew when he initially did this interview, now we know all the lies, even more of the lies, because more lies have come out, because you all do know that now he and Chris Todd have been saying that Kimora Lee Simmons is the woman who had Kim's book and gave it to them. Now he's sitting here saying, I don't know who the woman was. I never even read the book. Sir, you never read the book that you had published? What? Who does that? Now y'all know that sounds crazy, right? So somebody gave you a book. You never bothered to read it and you published it.
And to be clear, he received it in its complete form. So I think just to make sure we have some clarity here, the manuscript that Mr. Burgess received was already in its complete form. It's not that he edited it or changed anything.
Got it.
Now, see, this is why her dumb ass is getting sued. You see how she's caping for him? She's speaking these things as if they're facts, as if he didn't lie to her, as if she knows for a fact this is all true. That's why her dumb ass is getting sued. Y'all want y'all to pay attention. What I would have said is, well, from what Mr. Burgess told me, from what my client says, but she's sitting there, oh no, when he got it, it was already put together and he didn't put anything to it and he didn't take anything. Lady, he's a liar. And she's probably just sitting there lying, knowing darn well that he was lying all along. At the end of the day, this is why both of them are getting sued. And that's what you said. I'm glad Diddy sued. I am too. I hope he sues Chris Todd next. Okay, give that money to his darn kids because they don't deserve a dime off of Kim Porter. Low down, dirty rascals. Isn't this all so nefarious? I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention because at the end of the day, this is all crazy. Hold on, beloveds. I accidentally clicked off the thing, honey. But he's sitting up here and notice how she keeps interjecting when certain questions are asked. Okay, it's obvious that she's trying to make sure he doesn't get caught in a lie, but that's hard to do, seeing as how every other word that he says is a darn lie. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. I hope I'm back in the right place because I accidentally clicked off. Hold on. It's all nefarious.
They were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing. I don't know how who wrote it, put it together, but it was from her when I spoke to her.
What you received on the flash drives, was it the completed book or was it notes from Kim Porter that later were made into a book?
It was completed. It's only 60, it's only about 54 pages.
Sure, and in the beginning, it says, Kim made me promise that if something happened to her, I would make sure this book became public to the world. The way Sean moved, I knew that was a promise I would have to fulfill. Kim knew I was a woman of my word, and this book was going to make it to print. So it sounds like it is a woman who wrote up the notes from Kim Porter. Does that sound accurate?
It's how you read it, yes. I haven't even read the book.
Do you know who the woman is?
No.
And to be clear, he received it in its complete form. So I think just to make sure we have some clarity here, the manuscript that Mr. Burgess received was already in its complete form. It's not that he edited it or changed anything.
Got it.
He did give it to someone
Makes
else
sense.
who then edited it, but that's not how he received it.
Okay, so Ariel, did your client Courtney receive the book from the woman who seems to have written it, saying, "I'm a woman of my word, and this book is going to make it to print"?
I don't know if he received it from a man or a woman. He can answer that.
I received it from a man. I tell you, somebody she was dating.
Do you know if the notes from the book really were from Kim Porter?
It was, yes, because I spoke to her probably like 6 hours before I received it.
You spoke to Kim Porter?
Yes.
So Kim Porter.
Just saying hi.
Okay.
Just saying hi.
Okay, Ariel, go ahead and give me clarity on the timeline.
No, I'm trying to.
Now, how does this even make sense, you guys? He's sitting there talking about he spoke to her 6 hours before he received it. Here's the thing, though. Then he said, just saying hi. And he said that because he probably felt like she's going to ask him, the reporter's going to ask him, what did they talk about or what did she say? But here's the thing. He says that a woman wrote it and he got it from a man that she was dating. Okay. How does that even make sense? Like, what's the chain of custody here? That all sounds real crazy. So you mean to tell me Kim had the book, gave it to some woman who then gave it to a man who gave it to him? And how does that even make sense? A man that Kim was dating, but how did the woman get it? You see how the lies are just not making any sense? Deronda said, stop it, Mr. Brown, okay? Curious Potato says, sounds crazy. That's because it is crazy, beloved. But let's keep listening, honey, because I'm enjoying this foolishness.
Trying to get him to provide clarity of, was there a conversation with her?
No, I was
or
talking
just...
to the person, and he said, hold up, this is Courtney, be right here. Let me say something to him. He said, I know him, put me on speaker. Then that's how we end up speaking.
And then later, somebody else came and brought you the manuscript.
Right. Before I left ATL.
To the best of your knowledge, Courtney, do you believe that the manuscript is truly based on Kim Porter's diaries? Because there is a lot of dialogue in there. It is pages and pages of actual dialogue, which, I mean, I can't remember breakfast today, let alone dialogue from 5, 10, 15, and 20 years ago.
I guess this is a woman's scar. You understand? Maybe, what she been through. It's, I'm not a woman, so I'm just going by how I got female friends and relatives. They always come to the house scoring because what went on in their relationship. And you can't, when you score, you can't forget it.
Important to stop down here for a moment and note again that Sean Combs is accused. He has not been convicted of any crimes. And so far, everything against him is an allegation until it is proven in a court of law and a jury either decides or he decides to sign a plea deal to any of these crimes. But at this point in the story, Sean Combs is not guilty of any crimes. He is currently under indictment. He is currently being held on bail. But if you're at all curious about how Courtney Burgess feels about Diddy today, I asked him about that too. And here's what he had to say. Your lawyer just said, the story the tapes tell are the story of Diddy from the last several decades. And I know that you've known Diddy for a very long time. Can you describe what that story is based on what you now know to be true, the last several decades of Diddy's behavior and the reason he's now sitting in lockup?
I think I've been doing it for 35 years. I think we probably entered the music business at the same time. He entered with Uptown. I entered into Big Beat, Atlantic. At the time, I guess he was ambitious. He was then from ambitious went to doing anything, and then from doing anything to didn't care about nobody, who he could beat, and then he ended up turning into Lucifer.
This man is hilarious. This fool said then Diddy turned into Lucifer. Then he said, that he's been knowing Diddy for 35 years. Now, mind you, he was on someone else's channel and they asked him something about Diddy. And he said he never met Diddy. And they were like, I thought you knew him for all these years. He was like, yeah, I knew of him. I would see him in places, but, like never really met him. What? You literally just sat here and said you knew this man for 35 years. A lie don't care who tells it. Let's continue.
And today, I'm looking at him. I know y'all call him Diddy or Puffy. I call him Lucifer.
Ooh, that was hilarious, honey. What do y'all have to say about it? Nita's a mice where I said, why do people come on the internet and lie? Oh, because they think they can get away with it. Because they think they can get away with it, beloved. Now, he's sitting there calling Diddy Lucifer, but who is he? Okay, who is he? Oh, my goodness, this is all so crazy. But hold on, because I want y'all to see his little friend, Chris Todd. Like I said, he was recently, 5 days ago or so, was on somebody's channel, still peddling lies. Still peddling lies, honey. Y'all know what? Y'all know, remember, I told y'all he wouldn't come on my channel because I already told him I felt like he was lying. Hold on, let me see where I'm going to start at. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Now, I don't have permission to use this footage, so I'm going to put up an overlay. Let me try to find the timestamp. This is all crazy. And then he's sitting up there talking about Kimora Lee Simmons is the one who gave them the book. This is what Chris Todd said. Now, Kimora Lee Simmons is going to be suing them next. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? She's going to be suing next. Because they know darn well they didn't get that book from Kimora. That lady probably never saw either of them in her life. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. I'm still looking for the timestamp. I wonder, did he edit this video? Because I didn't see this fool on here. Let me see here. All I see is a bunch of people in his chat saying fake, 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 fake. I guess they're talking about that book. Okay, hold on. Oh, he's on here. His face isn't on the screen. And he doesn't have his name, Chris Todd, on there. He's got Jamal T. Millwood, which is the black person's name, the made-up name that he used for the title of the book, or for the when he published the book, to try to make it sound like it was a black person that did it. Okay, he's on here. All right, I was like, where is he at? So he's got his camera off, and then he's using this different name. Okay, so let me go to him. This is all nefarious. Here we go.
Quincy's adopted.
Okay, I'm going to put up an overlay. Just out here telling all sorts of lies, honey. He's got his camera off anyway, so we don't have to see his face. But listen, let's see what he's talking about.
By Diddy.
We'll go back just a little bit.
Jail with that pervert too.
Somebody going rogue who's threatening to release the Bieber Diddy sex tape right now.
Oh, really? So somebody who had the context of the
kind of knew what was going on, was part of the team before me. They tried this before and then they went dark on it. Supposedly this had come out over a year ago. And then nobody believed it. And so they couldn't really they were trying to do the book before kind of, but they couldn't really get it off the ground. And then
See, remember yesterday he had said that there was another version that was put out before, and that was with Courtney, and it was like tell the truth or something like that, and that's the one that had no names redacted and all the pictures, but I guess it didn't get off the ground. So then they connected with White Jamal to go ahead and put it out because White Jamal is known for these kind of things. So this is all making sense. This is why I wanted to play this video for you guys.
I think there was something where they kind of went dark. I don't really know exactly why they went dark for a while.
Well, Chris, these seem like shady people then.
Yeah, no, they're not shady.
But I mean, you said they're trying to shop around the sex tape now with Justin Bieber and Diddy.
Well, one of the people inside
the rogue one, at least the one that went rogue. Yeah, let me say
Courtney,
that one. The rogue
real
one.
Sources I trust. The rogue one, but I don't care about the rogue one.
Okay.
If that rogue one wants to release that Bieber Diddy tape, he's gonna have a target on his back. Like that's gonna be.
Oh,
I can't help him. If he does that, I cannot help him.
Right. So now knowing, because I want to go back to the whole, you worked out the deal with the people with the flash drive. So now they'll get their cut. You don't have to explain that part, but they'll get their cut or whatever. You made a deal with them. So because another thing that I heard was that the profits were supposed to go to Kim's children. So is that not true anymore?
That's not true. The family's not involved. We're not involved.
I have to look at like the interviews that he did with like Billboard and stuff like that, because I heard that the profit was going to the kids. And then when I asked him about it, he said, no, that.
Now that's what Courtney said. That's not what Chris Todd ever said. That's what Courtney said. He sat there and lied and said that he was going to give the proceeds to Kim's children. Now, you know darn well he was lying. Another thing is Chris Todd tried to downplay the amount of money they made because at first he was bragging. If you guys remember, when I played the initial interview for you all with Chris Todd, he said that they had sold 1 million copies in 12 days. Do you guys remember him saying that? But then he was on somebody's platform. It might even have been on this one. And he said that they only sold 30,000 copies. And I'm like, no, that's not what he said before. Okay. He clearly was bragging, and he said it more than once. Now all of a sudden he's going from 1 million to 30,000. Talk about they didn't make that much money. Lies.
No, because he'll say it in a minute. So I'm all like, where did that come from? Like, I swear I didn't make that up. I felt like I heard that originally. And remember, this was back in September. And isn't it crazy how things go by so quickly? Like, we forget about things that happen? Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you will definitely see deposits. You will definitely get checks.
I was skeptical in the beginning, too.
Involving them right now.
Okay, so I guess that was just a rumor that started because they said like, oh, the proceeds were going to go to Kim's children. Well, I don't think they'll accept it anyway, but you know.
I control all the proceeds.
Okay, so you control it. Okay. So again,
because I incur all the risk. So when I'll be sure, you saw that he filed a cease and desist and his lawyer leaked it, and his lawyer played a little stunt, and so he leaked it to the New York Post, right? Yeah, they're in for a world of hurt.
And I was gonna say, because I'll be sure originally was toting the book on like, oh, this is the book, and then when he found out that him and Diddy slept with each other, now all of a sudden he's like, oh no, this can't be. So yeah, so I question I'll be sure too with the legitimacy. I'll be honest, because
I don't recall Al B. Sure ever saying anything about this is the book. Okay. I don't remember him ever saying that. What I do recall is perhaps Al B. Sure saying in the past that Kim was writing a book. He never said that the book that they put out was that book. Okay. So please don't start lying on Al B. Sure, but let's continue.
I'm all like, well, you were told it at first, and now that it doesn't say you and Diddy had, some sexual attraction, and y'all got down with the get down. Now you have a problem with it.
So here's the thing. Let's talk about that, because I'm glad you brought it up. Because he didn't.
So again, Al B. Sure has put himself in all of this. All the alluding to Diddy gave him pneumonia and tried to off him, and he did something to Kim. He has played into all the internet stuff as well too. And you would just think with somebody who is in the industry or was heavily in the industry that he would just go about things a little different.
What does he mean, go about things a little different? First of all, Al B. Sure has been very vocal for years about his thoughts on what happened to Kim Porter. And why shouldn't he be? He sounds ridiculous, okay? He sounds ridiculous. This guy's crazy to me anyway, honey, because he lets people get on his own platform, one person in particular, and talk to him like he is pure trash. But he allows them to do so because I guess he needs the clicks and views, honey. But nobody could ever disrespect me like that, honey. They would have all the smoke. Well, let's continue.
Because let's not forget that before Kim had passed away, he was all in pictures with Diddy and stuff like that. They were even at the funeral. Remember, all on stage together, all consoling Quincy when he was talking about his mom. So when all of a sudden did you start hating Diddy again?
He really sounds ridiculous. Al B. Sure has not ever been friends with Diddy. What the hell is this fool talking about? When has Al B. Sure been all over pictures with Diddy? He sounds crazy. This is a case of somebody not even knowing what the hell they're talking about, honey. OG Patrice, come get your friend.
Recently, because it's popular, or when was the hate? That's what I'm trying to find out. When did you start hating him again? Or was it when you got sick? That's when you started hate. I just want it to make sense. That's it. And again, I do think Al B. Sure knows some stuff, right? But I can't have you just giving us half truths or just a little bit of it. I need you to tell your whole story. Tell it. We're tired of being fed breadcrumbs. Give us.
Let me fast forward because I don't even want to hear what he has to say. He's a damn idiot. I don't even like this dude for real.
Move his chapter, and then that's it.
Well, how come you didn't contact Al, like before you put out the book? Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Look at how these celebs from the 90s are seen in 2025. Wow.
A lot of people don't know this, but you can be using Instagram to make money online from the comfort.
Oh.
Hold on. Is OG Patrice in here? I saw somebody just speak to OG Patrice. Is OG Patrice in the chat? Because I have several questions. I don't see her in here. I have some questions about this dude. Okay, anyway, I'll talk to her later, but let's continue.
Some have turned out well, and
fast forward. I don't want to hear nothing he has to say. I'm trying to hear what this fool Chris Todd is talking about.
Pluralsight has the upskilling you need to master today's AI tools and techniques.
X's and stuff that was basically redacted out the book.
Yeah, because I redacted it. I X'd it out.
So in that case, was it because you did not believe it or because you were trying to protect those individuals?
Because I was trying to, that's what it says in the front page of the disclaimer that some of your fans will see. That's why I wrote that in the first page. I wrote the disclaimer saying, due to the highly sensitive nature of some of the material, the events, the people.
Miss Barbara, I can't put your question up, but you asked me if I believe in the distraction.
Get everybody to sleep with you. She's just found out. So it's some of it is disturbing. But look, this isn't the first book that's disturbing, sexual, sensational, and like I've stuck up for Kim before, she has every right to write any book she wants. She can tell any story she wants.
Right.
It's her life rights. It's her point of view. First off, she has constitutional rights, civil rights.
I know this food and go to talking about civil rights. I've heard enough. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this clown. Okay, 2 clowns on here. No, I'm sorry. They got to go. Let me just tell y'all this. At the end of the day, here's the thing. He's sitting there talking about Kim has the right to tell her story, constitutional rights, civil rights. Sounds so stupid. First of all, Kim didn't write it, fool. And he knows damn well she didn't write it because he even admitted that he wrote some of it. He admitted on somebody's channel that he wrote some of it. So why is he sitting there trying to play these dumbass games? Then I remember somebody asked him, well, do you believe the book is true? And if so, how much of it's true? He said about 80%. And they said they got it from Kimora Lee Simmons, okay? I hope Kimora sues the hell out of them, okay? Sitting there lying. They probably never met Kimora Lee Simmons in their lives. That's all crazy. Y'all hear this foolishness? Yes, they're clowns, Miss Sheila. Absolutely, okay? Then this other dude sitting here dragging Al B. Sure, talking about when did he stop liking Diddy, but when it was not popular. First of all, if Al B. Sure was friends with Diddy, why the hell would Al B. Sure feel like Diddy may have had something to do with him being sick or with something to do with Kim being passing away? Okay? That was in 2018. So, and they didn't like each other before that. So I don't know what's wrong with people. Some people have no common sense and no critical thinking skills. All right? That's how that goes. Sad to say. Lillian X said, Queen, I'm digging the headscarf. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay. Anita Harrell said, that picture of Diddy looks like AI eyes are like his AI eyes are pitch black because the picture was Diddy. Has on a tuxedo. First of all, I keep telling y'all, Juju B said, Queen got me hollering. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm being so serious. Perplex said, poor foolishness. Okay. But listen, that, this right here is not Diddy. I keep telling y'all that. This right here is not Diddy. All right. Y'all can't tell the difference. Look at the noses. Look how close the eyes are together. Diddy has a mole under his eye. Okay. Diddy look better than him, quite frankly. That's not Diddy. That might be Diddy's doppelganger. I just used that picture because it was trending or something like that. It was a meme or whatever. Okay. Juju said, Queen look amazing. Thank you, beloved. That's not Diddy. All right. So anyway, with that I've been saying, let's get into this paperwork about Diddy so I can be up out of here. Okay. Diddy has some new paperwork that's been filed, and we got to talk about Trump. Y'all know Trump is on some real BS. Okay. He is on some real BS, and we're going to get into it. But first things first. Now, there is a memorandum that has been filed. It was filed today. It's where Diddy and his attorneys were being sued, and they wanted the person who was suing them as John Doe to have to come forward with his name. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hold on. Rick Pat said, I'm white and 70 in Georgia. Can someone please recognize Diddy party goers or some folks or same folks in Hollywood, Satanism, Santeria, and animal sacrifices and same celebs and wayfarers kids for sale advertisement? Really? What about the same people at Jeffrey Epstein's islands? That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. And I definitely know about some Santeria that J-Lo was doing, allegedly, according to her first husband. I'm not surprised, but thank you for that information. Lillian said, Queen Cali is burning down, massive fires. I know, I was talking about it this morning, beloved. I really hate to hear that, okay? I really hate to hear it. Hopefully they'll be able to get it under control soon. This is all crazy, but I need y'all to pay attention. These are strange times we're living in. You know, and I was thinking about this morning when I was telling you all about the snow in Georgia. This is the second time it snowed here in 2 weeks, which is very unusual. And then it even snowed in Florida and it snowed in Louisiana. So I'm sitting up here thinking, I was like, is this man-made or is this the Most High? You know what? This is likely the Most High. Because we're living in strange times. You know, there's supposed to be strange weather occurrences and all this stuff. I'm going to tell y'all right now, we all better get it together. That's what we better be doing. We better be trying to get on the right side, honey. Okay? That's what we better be doing. We better be trying to live our lives in the best way possible. Okay? Don't get caught lacking is all I'm saying, honey. Because when Jesus comes back, some of y'all gonna be looking real crazy, is all I'm saying. Won't be me, though. Some of y'all gonna be looking real crazy, okay? When the Messiah comes back, some of y'all don't even try to stop doing your dirt when he gets here. Whatever dirt you're doing, just keep on doing it. Don't try to change course at the last minute, honey. If you're going to change and get it together, you better do it right now. That's all I'm saying. All right? Look at Claudette's little lying butt sitting there talking about not me. Yes, you, Claudette. Perplex said, talk to him, Queen. Don't make me start preaching. Juju B said, not Jesus. I'm so serious. Listen, it's prophesied in the Bible. It says that after the crucifixion, when right before Jesus ascended back into the heavens, the disciples asked him, when shall there be another Passover? Basically asking, when was he going to return? He said, there shall come upon you a man bearing a pitcher of pouring water. Follow him into the city where he entereth in, or the house where he entereth in. But at the end of the day, that is the age of Aquarius, because you know that Jesus walked the earth in the age of Pisces. That's why you see people riding around with that little fish symbol on their cars. And each age or eon lasts approximately 2,166 days. And so now we've entered into the age of Aquarius. Okay, if you go back and read the scripture, the Savior was telling us, honey, that's when he's going to come back. That's why I told you all that they're going to have that. I told you all about Project Bluebeam, where they're going to try to fake it. Okay, well, they're going to try to fake it. That's not going to be Jesus, but they're going to try to make people think that it is. So please pay attention. And that's all alleged. Let me just make sure I put that out there for ScrewTube's sake. But y'all know what I told you all. Okay? Pencilo said, Queen, I was in battle. Okay? Thank you, beloved. I hope you won. And thank you for the contribution for the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Reggie said, thank you. I'm safer now. Are you, Reggie? Because I heard otherwise. I heard you was nefarious. Look at Christopher talking about Jesus saved me already. Did he? Queen Sam said, pass the plate after that sermon from the Queen. Y'all are something else. Okay, Lily X said, OMG, I'm watching the weather. Stephanie said, it's scary that some people don't know anything about the Bible. It is scary, honey. They better get right or get left is all I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay? Cookie said, Queen, I don't want the devil to get me, so I do the best I can. I know that's right, honey. That's what all of y'all little heathens better be doing. Don't say I didn't warn y'all. I keep telling y'all, I'm like Noah sitting here trying to warn y'all before the flood. Some of you will listen and some of you won't. Okay? Some of you will listen and some of you sadly won't. Oh, Reggie said the fire is about 20 miles from you. Oh my goodness, Reggie. I forgot you live in California, beloved. I'm so sorry. You're doing all right. That's what you're talking about. You're doing all right for now. I thought you were talking about your soul or your spirit is doing all right for now. So Jesus don't have to leave you behind when he comes back, honey. That's what I thought you were talking about. So the fire is about 20 miles north of me in the hills and canyons. Okay, well, beloved, you stay safe. I'm going to stay prayed up for you. Oh, hell no, said if they present, oh, hell no, sit down somewhere. Okay, let's not use those words. Let's not use those words, beloved. Pistol said, Queen, I won. That's good, beloved, okay? That is very good. All right. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Claudette said, I'm listening and have taken heed. All right. Okay, so now let's get on into this paperwork. There's a strong delusion coming. Some ain't gonna make it, said Miss Sheila. Well, you know, that's the truth. Reggie said he's watching the fire. That is the truth. Some people are not gonna make it. It says in the Bible, only a remnant of Israel, okay, it's gonna make it. Some of y'all are gonna sadly be left behind, and it's not gonna be anything the Queen can do for you once that happens, honey, because I can't look back unless I turn to a pillar of salt. Please pay attention. Now let's get into it. Okay, now, Lewis A. Kaplan, district judge. Plaintiff John Doe claims that Sean Combs, a well-known rapper and record producer, assaulted him and that several businesses owned or controlled by Combs enabled him to do so. The question before the court is whether the plaintiff should be permitted to litigate this case without revealing his identity. And for the following reasons, the plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously is denied. Now, here are the reasons. Let's get into the background of it. The plaintiff alleges that in 2022, he socialized with Sean Combs' business associates at a Miami nightclub. The associates subsequently drove the plaintiff to an after party hosted by Combs at a residential home in Miami, Florida. After arriving at the party, an associate of Combs accompanied the plaintiff upstairs and introduced him to Combs. Combs offered the plaintiff a drink laced with drugs and directed the plaintiff on a tour of the house. The tour concluded in a bedroom, and while the plaintiff slipped in and out of consciousness from the effect of the drugs, Combs raped him in the presence of several other people. After the assault, the plaintiff was left unconscious, naked, and afraid. The next morning, Combs' associates escorted the plaintiff out of his home. Plaintiff contends that since the night of that alleged assault, he has suffered significant physical and mental harm, including anxiety disorders and a fear of group gatherings. Combs currently is incarcerated while awaiting trial on federal criminal charges, including trafficking and racketeering. Now, federal court proceedings and records presumptively are public absent a showing of exceptional circumstances. Accordingly, the title of a complaint must name all the parties. This rule serves the vital purpose of facilitating public scrutiny of judicial proceedings. Now, and therefore cannot be set aside lightly. Goes on to say that although there is a presumption that the parties will disclose their names, a district court has discretion to grant an exception to this requirement in certain limited circumstances. An exception is appropriate only where the litigant seeking to proceed anonymously has a substantial privacy interest that outweighs any prejudice to the opposing party and the customary and constitutionally embedded presumption of openness in judicial proceedings. Now, the Second Circuit has identified a non-exhaustive list of factors to assist district courts in balancing these interests. A district court is not required to list each of the factors or use any particular formulation as long as it is clear that the court balanced the interest at stake in reaching its conclusion. Now, the 10 factors are: number one, whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature. 2, whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. And 3rd, whether identification presents other harms and the likely severity of those harms, including whether the injury litigated against would be incurred as a result of disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Excuse me. The 4th thing is whether the plaintiff's particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly in light of his age. Whether the suit is challenging the actions of the government or that of private parties. That was number 5. Number 6, whether the defendant is prejudiced by allowing the plaintiff to press his claims anonymously, whether the nature of that prejudice, if any, differs at any particular stage of the litigation, and whether any prejudice can be mitigated by the district court. 7, whether the plaintiff's identity has thus far been kept confidential. 8, whether the plaintiff's interest in the litigation is furthered by requiring the plaintiff to disclose his identity. 9, whether because of the purely legal nature of the issues presented or otherwise, there is an atypically weak public interest in knowing the litigants' identities. And 10, whether there are any alternative mechanisms for protecting the confidentiality of the plaintiff. Now, the plaintiff alleges that Combs violently raped him in the presence of multiple strangers. Undoubtedly, this is a highly sensitive and personal claim, and the plaintiff's privacy interest is compelling. You know, many of these people have said that these things were done to them in the presence of others. Like, all these people are just sitting around watching this stuff go down. This sounds like something out of a movie. It reminds me of that scene from Rosemary's Baby when they were on that boat and they had all the people watching, and Rosemary thought she was dreaming, but she wasn't. They'd actually drugged her. Okay, please pay attention. And so she was able to see what was happening, but didn't know what was really, was unable to respond to it. And then her husband was like, can she see us? Does she know what's going on? Because I guess they probably didn't give her enough to make her fully be unconscious. But she was able to see what they were doing, though she couldn't respond to it. It was all crazy. But that's what I get. This is what I picture in my mind when I hear these people talking about these things were done to them and groups of people are standing around watching. Who watches this besides a bunch of freaks? If this is all true. But let's continue. Now, the first factor thus favors the plaintiff's use of a pseudonym. However, allegations of assault by themselves are not sufficient to entitle a plaintiff to proceed under a pseudonym. Because there is no evidence before the court that the plaintiff has spoken publicly about the incident, the seventh factor likewise favors anonymity. Now, with that with that all being said, these two factors, however, are not dispositive. Now, the second factor is whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. Plaintiff states that he has developed anxiety disorders as a result of the alleged assault and that public disclosure would cause him further trauma. The court appreciates that assault often has long-term devastating consequences for victims. Given that the defendant is a public figure, this case may attract exceptional media attention and public scrutiny, which understandably might cause the plaintiff embarrassment and distress. And I agree. Listen, when these men who are heterosexual are talking about what Diddy has done to them, these accusations that they're alleged against Diddy, I can see why they would not want that to be made public, why they wouldn't want to have their face and name out there. Can you imagine the embarrassments? Okay, that's got to be embarrassing, I would imagine. Now, with that being said, the court appreciates that assault often has long-term devastating consequences for victims, given that the defendant is a public figure, that this case may attract exceptional media attention and public scrutiny, which understandably might cause the plaintiff embarrassment or distress. But the threat of significant media attention, however, exasperated by the modern era alone, does not entitle a plaintiff to the exceptional remedy of anonymity. Anonymity. I always say that word wrong. Anonymity. Now, overcoming the presumption of openness requires particularized evidence that disclosure will cause injury. Generalized harm, absent more direct evidence linking disclosure of the plaintiff's name to a specific physical or mental injury, is insufficient. The plaintiff has not provided support from a medical professional. So he didn't go to the doctor or any other evidence to corroborate his claim that disclosure would cause him psychological injury. So he probably, in my opinion, before filing this, probably should have sought some type of therapy. You know, they could have diagnosed him with something if there was anything to diagnose him with, and that would have been a good case for them to allow him to remain anonymous. But since he didn't go to the doctor or anything like that, he has no proof. Now, instead, the plaintiff offers only a vague, generic, and speculative claim that having his traumatic experience played out in a public forum could spark more trauma. This conclusory assertion of the possibility of generalized harm applicable to all victims of assault is insufficient to carry his burden. The plaintiff cites Doe versus Smith in support of his argument that his risk of mental harm weighs in favor of granting his request to proceed anonymously. In that case, however, the court denied the plaintiff's first motion to proceed anonymously because she had not satisfied her burden of presenting the type of extraordinary circumstances that would overcome the public interest in open judicial proceedings. Initially, the plaintiff failed to provide particularized evidence that proceeding publicly would cause the plaintiff personal harm, and instead relied upon generic allegations applicable to all litigants suffering from mental illness. The court did not grant the motion until the plaintiff substituted specific evidence from a medical professional, predicting that revelation of her identity will likely cause psychological and emotional pain so intense that it would threaten her stability, her safety, and even her life. Here the plaintiff provided no comparable evidence. Hold on. Why did I think this was a man? Because I could have sworn that it said John Doe. Hold on, let me go back up here. Yeah, it says John Doe. What are they talking about? It says United States District Court, Southern District of New York, John Doe plaintiff. So I don't know who filed this, but they need to get it together because it clearly says John Doe. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this was a man. This is supposed to be about a man, but they keep saying her. This is shoddy filing by the attorney, but let me continue. So plaintiff argues also that disclosure would pose a significant risk of physical harm. The only support for this claim is his counsel's declaration. Now they go back to saying his, that in nearly all of the victims presented by his firm or represented by his firm experienced similar threats of violence against either themselves or their loved ones. There is no basis for assuming that plaintiff's counsel has reliable information to that effect. Moreover, the plaintiff has not stated whether he, rather than unspecified others, experienced any such threats. Because the people have a right to know who is using their courts. A plaintiff must articulate more than speculative risk of harm to proceed anonymously. The plaintiff has not done so in the materials offered to the court. This factor therefore weighs against plaintiff's use of a pseudonym. With respect to the third factor, which considers other harms that would be posed by disclosure, the plaintiff has failed to identify any. And as to the fourth factor, which considers the plaintiff's age or other particular susceptibility to harm, the plaintiff is not a minor, nor was he a minor at the time of the alleged assault. He has not identified any other characteristic that would make him particularly vulnerable. Factors 2, 3, and 4 therefore weigh against the plaintiff proceeding anonymously. So he's going to have to tell who he is. The sixth factor considers whether the defendant would be prejudiced by allowing the plaintiff to press his claims anonymously. Whether the nature of that prejudice, if any, differs at any particular stage of the litigation, and whether any prejudice can be mitigated by the district court. To assess this factor, courts have examined the reputational damage to defendants, difficulties in conducting discovery, and fundamental fairness of proceeding anonymously. Plaintiff claims that his use of a pseudonym would not prejudice the defendants because, other than a short house tour immediately prior to the assault, plaintiff was anonymous to Combs before, during, and after the S assault. This argument is nonsensical. The fact that the plaintiff was a stranger to Combs at the time of the assault does not obviate the disadvantage faced by the defendants if the plaintiff's identity is unknown during the course of the lawsuit. So they're saying that, this man says Diddy doesn't know him anyway. Diddy didn't even know his name before he did all that nefariousness, allegedly. Now, whether or not the plaintiff was known to the defendants prior, during, or after the assault, use of a pseudonym by the plaintiff would cause a significant asymmetry in fact gathering. Confidentiality disclosing the plaintiff's name to the defendant's counsel, as plaintiff's counsel suggests, would not eliminate the potential prejudice. Now, even if the plaintiff's identity were known to the defendants, they would face a sizable disadvantage because persons with valuable information about the plaintiff or his allegations would not be alerted to the case, particularly in a high-profile case in which unknown witnesses may surface. Use of a pseudonym may prevent information favorable to the defendants from coming to light. Additionally, the plaintiff's anonymity may undermine the defendant's efforts to mitigate the alleged reputational damage stemming from these serious allegations. Moreover, fundamental fairness suggests that defendants are prejudiced when required to defend themselves publicly, while plaintiff makes accusations from behind a cloak of anonymity. The plaintiff is correct that the prejudice potentially suffered by the defendants would be less severe at this early stage in the lawsuit, and that the court may reserve the right to order disclosure at a later stage. Even considering this, the sixth factor does not favor the plaintiff's use of a pseudonym. So anyway, they're going through all these factors. Okay, basically to say what? That the man has to tell who he is. That's what it's looking like. Let's get to the conclusion of it all. With the exception of factors 1 through 7, all the factors weighed against the plaintiff's use of a pseudonym. Okay, all of them, they say, with exceptions of 1 and 7. 1 and 7, just 2 of them didn't. Now, although the plaintiff's privacy interest is substantial, he has failed to present the particularized evidence required to overcome the presumption of disclosure. Plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously, docket 6, therefore is denied. Plaintiff shall file an amended complaint, including his name, no later than February the 4th of 2025. It is so ordered. January the 22nd of 2025. Okay, signed Louis A. Kaplan, United States District Judge. Well, this person's going to have to say who they are. They're going to have to say who they are. You know, Diddy already got that other person, that other person that sued him, that woman. She had to come clean and say who she was too. Diddy is having these people. Candace McCrary, that's her name. Candace McCrary. He's making these people have to come out and say who they are. What do you all think about that? Y'all think that Diddy should be able to get away with it? Make these people come clean? Okay, now you guys, this is a video. Hold on. Diddy didn't even like Justin's music when he was younger. There's an interview of Justin talking about it, so I doubt he wanted him. You doubt he wanted him? You talk about his music? Well, here's the thing. Just because he didn't like his music didn't mean that he wouldn't like him for something else. Now, I'm not saying that he did. Aubrey Allen, beloved, I'm not saying that he did, but I don't think the music would have anything to do with whether or not Diddy was attracted to somebody. Okay? I just don't think that would have anything to do with it. Reggie says, absolutely not. Diddy should be held accountable for all his nefarious actions. Exactly. I have to agree. Okay. Miss Sheila said Diddy has done so much. Yes. Mainly paid for Tupac to be murdered. Okay. Allegedly. But I know he did it as far as I'm concerned. Low down dirty devil. I am never going to get over that. I'm sorry, y'all. Diddy needs to go to prison. Diddy needs to go to prison for the rest of his life, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that every time I think about what Tupac could have been, had he been allowed to live out the rest of his life, the change and everything that he could have made and all of that. I mean, he was already making changes at the end of the day. I'm just saying, the things that he did, Diddy that is, and Biggie, if Biggie were still here, who knows what impact they would have had if they had been allowed to live. I mean, they made an impact even though they died so young. Just imagine, you know, do you all ever stop to think and ponder about what Diddy took away from this world, allegedly? Strolling Stoner said, not Queen being biased. I'm always biased when it comes to Diddy. Y'all know I don't like Diddy. I'm always biased when it comes to him. But here's the thing. Even if I don't like Diddy, I can point out people who lie on him like Courtney Burgess, like Adria English and Lamisha Fuller. So I may not like him, but at least I can be fair. Please pay attention, okay? I mean, I'm not that biased that I can't do that. Vince Loda said he's not alone, okay? Thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved, and your insight into the topic. Peace, love, and blessings. Reggie said, I do it all the time. What could have been? Exactly. It is just like hurtful. That is something I'm never going to get over, and I will never forgive Diddy, period. Okay? I'm never going to forgive Diddy for that. All right? I really want him to go to prison for the rest of his life, and I don't care why they send him. All right? I don't care why they send him. Sure don't. And I told y'all that last night, and I'm not even joking. Get me started. Don't even get me started. Diddy is the devil. Strolling Stoner said, you got it, Queen. I love you. I love you too, beloved. Y'all know how I felt about Tupac. Reggie said it was Minnie Riperton for me. Yeah, I love Minnie Riperton's music, honey. I sure do. So with that all being said, listen, you guys, I want you all to pay attention because, you know, this is all about to get real interesting. Okay, it's about to get a whole lot more interesting when you really sit there and think about it. All this stuff coming out. Now think about these people like Macy's, these corporations Macy's, the Marriott, they're getting dismissed from these lawsuits. Devontae Swing got dismissed from the lawsuit with which Liza Gardner filed. Okay, this trial is going to be here before we know it. May the 5th is literally right around the corner. I mean, it's almost February that quick. Okay, and we just blinked. So it's going to get real crazy. Now let's talk about D.L. Hugley, because he's got something to say about Nelly and Snoop Dogg again. Here he goes. I mean, I get it. People didn't like the fact that they performed for Trump, but isn't that their business? Like I said, still don't understand why people are so mad about what other people do that has nothing whatsoever to do with them. And then Elon Musk doing that whole Nazi salute. Okay, that just made it all more nefarious. Now people really have something to say about Snoop and Nelly and Soulja Boy. Okay, please pay attention. Anyway, let me go to the footage. Hold on. Somebody's talking about, Richie says, Jay-Z and Diddy need looking up for all the music they sold using payola. The way they did artists and all that stuff, and just shady. Jay-Z getting all these people canceled and blackballed, allegedly. Okay, allegedly. Let me preface that. But let's hear what D.L. Hugley has to say, because y'all know I don't care for D.L. Hugley. I just don't care for him, because one thing about D.L. Hugley that I don't like, and I used to like D.L., I really did. But the one thing that I don't like about D.L. Hugley is that, we can all be opinionated and that's fine. But one thing about him is when somebody has a contrary view or opinion than his, he wants to go in on them and bash them and talk trash about them. That is not only D.L. Hugley, but that is Ricky Smiley and that is Steve Harvey. And they have a lot of nerve, because to me, people like that are nothing more than hypocrites, because they think that it's perfectly fine for them to voice their opinions, okay, no matter what they are. But the minute someone else wants to voice theirs and it doesn't align with theirs, now they got a problem. They want to go in and try to bash people. I don't like stuff like that, because I don't have to agree with a person, but I also don't have to disrespect them just because I disagree. All right, well, let's get into it. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen because I don't have permission to use this man stuff. Let me see what I can put up here. Oh, that's not going to cover his face. Sitting up there looking like a black Abraham Lincoln. He looks like a black Abraham Lincoln, doesn't he? Let me put this on him. Put Diddy's face up there with his doppelganger.
So, of course, it was the 20th, happened yesterday. It was Martin Luther King's birthday, and also the swearing in of the 47th president of the United States of America. And already the contortions to explain what we have seen are happening. We watched Elon Musk throw up twice what was a Nazi symbol. Twice. And you had the ADL come out and say no, that they come out and defended it and poo-pooed and said it wasn't so. I tell you what, I will say this. It's interesting that a couple of months ago, if you said something, the very organization or one of the organizations, if you said something, anything positive, you could say Palestinians deserve the right to exist, and you were yelled down as an anti-Semite. But a man demonstrated a move twice that was clearly a Nazi. I tell you what, if Elon Musk did that in Germany, he'd have went to jail. If he did it in Austria, he'd have went to jail. If you do that at your job, you lose. And the only place you can make a Nazi salute and keep your job is the White House.
Let me say this, okay? Didn't I say this morning? Now, I have to agree with DL's nefarious self at this point, because I said the same thing this morning. I said it's very interesting how they made Nick Cannon, Kanye West, Whoopi Goldberg, they made them all apologize and went in on them and deemed them as anti-Semitic. But you mean to tell me Elon Musk can't get up there and do that salute, and everybody wants to act like and tell us that we didn't see what we saw, and oh, that was just an awkward gesture. That's what the ADL said. They defended this. But when it's somebody who looks like me, it's a whole nother energy. And another thing is, some people on TikTok said, oh, it was the Roman salute. Now, like I told you guys, the Roman salute and the Nazi salute are the same thing. Where do they think Hitler got it from? They only started calling it the Nazi salute because Hitler did it. But in real life, it's the same thing as the Roman salute. So when they sit there and tell you, oh, he wasn't doing a Nazi salute, he was doing a Roman salute, they're playing games. They're playing in your face because they're trying to make you think that he did something that's totally different. It's the same damn thing. But let's continue.
But I'm watching people contort. Like I heard somebody say, well, I don't know why people are mad at entertainers. They're not mad at Biden and Obama. Biden and Obama swore an oath for the presidency of the United States. And that is to comport yourself in a way that uplifts the office, whether you like who's inheriting it or not.
Okay, this is where DL goes left. Okay, now I haven't listened to this prior to getting on here. I just saw that I saw the title and I knew he was going to talk trash. So this is my first time hearing it. I'm hearing it for the first time with you guys. But here's what I will say. Now he's doing the same bullshit that Willie D did when he had Nelly on there. He's making allowances for Obama and Biden. Oh, Obama did it because he's a president. He's a former president. It's about politics. And then there were some people saying, oh, Obama had to do it. He didn't have to do any darn thing. And here's the thing with that. DL is doing the same thing, but the point is this. Obama got up there and disparaged, went in, scolded Black men and said they were misogynist and sexist because they didn't want to support Kamala. He didn't bother to ask them, well, is it maybe something about her politics that you don't like? Or is it something about, things that you feel like she's done? Let's talk about that. No, he scolded them like he was their father and they were his kids. But then he sits up there and kikis it up with Trump. Now, okay, if you want to just be cordial because you're a former president, then you still didn't have to be kikiing it all up and having look like you're having such a good time. At the end of the day, I think that's how he really feels. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I think it is the Truman Show. I think that they sit up here and put on this show, okay, this charade is what I call it, a whole charade, and sit up here and act like they just can't stand each other just to get everybody all hyped up, choosing sides. And at the end of the day, this is how they act behind closed doors. Now, that's just what I happen to think. And here's the thing. When they want to say that Obama and Biden took an oath that they're going to do this, that, and the third, that don't have anything to do with them being all chummy with the person that's their arch rival. Second of all, did Trump do that when Trump lost in 2020? Did he get up there and kiki it up with Biden? No, he didn't even go to the inauguration. Okay? Did he even go to the inauguration? I don't think he did. So don't tell me what Obama had to do. Obama did what he wanted to do, as far as I'm concerned. Like I told you all days ago, the only person who's keeping it real in the Obama household is Michelle. But let me continue.
The only person who hasn't lived up to that oath is Trump. So you can say, well, you're not mad at them. That's like if you own a McDonald's, you can't change the recipe because you ain't happy with them. It's a franchise. It is what it is. You have signed on for this job, and that job entails you doing things you don't like, going to funerals, shaking hands, being cordial, and having a peaceful transfer of power. The only one who hasn't done it is Trump, and now he's the metric we set it by. That is called, they took an oath, and they lived up to their duties. They lived up to their oaths. And when it comes to what Snoop and Nelly and Rick Ross and Soulja Boy, they are entertainers. They can do what they want. I understand that. But you can't get mad at backlash. Stop conflating them with Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and the wealthiest people in the world. Well, they did that. Those wealthy men, those wealthy white men, they bought in. You can't say they sold out. They bought in. They're going to get a direct benefit from their association with Trump. And they don't need anybody else. I don't know that Snoop or Nelly or Rick Ross or Soulja Boy can say that same thing. And stop telling me, well, they can do what they want. If MAGA can get upset, MAGA got so upset about people that it thought betrayed them, they wanted to kill them on 4 years ago. They stormed the Capitol to kill them. Hang Mike Pence. Hang Mike Pence. You remember that? I mean, that probably won't go in history books now, but that was a real thing. MAGA got upset with Liz Cheney. MAGA got upset with anybody who they thought betrayed them. And the betrayal could be just living up to your oath. So if that's because they thought you were one of them and you turned out to do something that there was an anathema to them. Black people can feel the same way. They can feel the same way. You are entitled to do whatever you want to do beyond recrimination. But I do think it's interesting that there were more Black people genuflecting and rapping in front of him and performing for him than he will ever put in front of their cabinet. He'll never put them in the cabinet. And you ever notice you never hear them yell DEI when a Black person is rapping, singing, dancing, jumping, or running, because that's our province. They only say DEI when you encroach where white men should go. They only say DEI when you do something they think only they have the right to do. So it's never DEI when you're doing what you're supposed to do. When you're DJing and being Snoop and DJing a party, they ain't gonna get mad. That's what you're supposed to do. Try to.
You know what? I'm gonna have to agree with DL on this, but here's the thing I don't like about DL. This is all true what he's saying about the DEI, but the thing is, he doesn't have that same energy for the Democrats. He doesn't have that same energy for the Democrats when they do little slick, shady stuff, because they do some of this stuff too. They just do it behind the back door so we can't see them doing it. Then they come out and smile in your face with a knife behind their back. That's how they roll. You see, the Republicans are blatant. You know what they're coming. They're the wolf, like Malcolm X said. The Democrats are the fox. I want y'all to pay attention because DL is telling the truth right now, but he don't have the same energy. Like I said, when them Democrats do little slick stuff, he'll never admit to the racist things that Biden has done and said. Okay? Selective outrage is all I'm saying at the end of the day. And quite frankly, Elon Musk doing what he did is no surprise to me.
Lead, then it's DEI. Try to be a doctor or an airplane pilot, or try to be a president, or try to be a senator. Here the calls of DEI. But not when you DJ and rap and dance and run. That's what they expect you to do. There were more black people who performed from him and gender reflective in front of him yesterday than will ever be in his cabinet in any significant position. Even all the black people who calling him daddy now didn't get a cabinet. They didn't even get the secretary position of secretaries. So let's be clear. Who
the hell's calling Trump daddy, DL? Now you're going too far. He said even the black people that's calling him daddy. Who the hell's calling Trump daddy? Like, sit down somewhere.
We are a tribal nation. They want people who they find a kinship with to be loyal, and they get to decide what the parameters of that loyalty is. You can't bite the hand that feeds you and then get mad that they're angry. You can't say, I'm going to do something that the people who supported me for a long time don't like and then have a residency in Vegas. You can't do that and have an album. You can't do that and have a party or concert. I tell you what, here's the way I'll leave it. If MAGA can get mad at the people they thought were disloyal, surely niggas have the right to get mad at the people they think are disloyal. That's a little note from the GED section. Got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the DL Hugley Show.
Sit down somewhere. No, he didn't. Oh, he is a whole mess. Y'all heard that? He thought he really said something, honey. Talking about we got the nerve, we got the right to get mad. Yeah, you can get mad, okay. But at the end of the day, why are you wasting your energy? Why are you wasting your energy? Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and get mad because Snoop, Nelly, or whomever performed for Trump. Because like I said, that doesn't impact my life one way or another. Now, when you do something that starts to affect me in a negative way, then I'll get mad. But I don't care what they do. Because even if I don't like a person's decisions or opinions or choices, whatever, I know that that's the right that they have. Just like I know that I have the rights. And I don't want anybody going in on me because of choices that I decide to make that they don't like. You see, I know how to be objective. But see, people like DL Hugley, they don't know how to be objective. See, they want what they want and when they want and how they want it. And if you stray from that, then they want to give you the smoke. That's how that goes. You know what it is, though? Here's the thing. It would be a whole lot better received if people like DL, if they would just sit down and have talks with people, like they have some sense, like they can just respectfully agree to disagree. And even though they don't like what you're doing, if they could just tell you in a nice fashion, but no, that's not what they did. They got up there, they started talking slick and greasy about people, telling people's families not to deal with them and all kind of stuff. All that does is sow more seeds of division, and that's not going to get us anywhere. And that's the reason why people who look like me just cannot get it together and just cannot unify, because we're so divisive amongst ourselves. We can let somebody do one thing we don't like and just throw them under the bus for that one thing, even though they've done everything else in our favor. Look how they did Ice Cube. I keep bringing that up for a reason. This is what our people do. This is what our people do. Another thing that our people do is they don't like the truth. People who tell too much truth get ridiculed and get shunned, called haters, clout chasers. But the people who feed lies and BS, okay, and tell salacious stories that sound juicy, whether or not they're true, they'll go for that. And here's the thing. Just like when I was on 2 Strong's channel and they were talking about Allie Carter, and showing receipts. There were people who are for Ally Carter that were demanding, where did you get that from? Oh, y'all don't have no proof. They literally are showing you proof. Y'all don't have no receipts. I need to see receipts. But when did Ally show you any receipts? And they literally showed all these lies that Ally Carter has told. I mean, things posted, paperwork with different dates on it, saying that Shelly adopted her when she was 19. That's what they both said. Then they come back in another time and say she was adopted when she was 17. Then there's paperwork that was on her Instagram that they showed where it said she was 20. I mean, just all these foolish lies, and they're showing proof of receipts, but people are like, oh, I need to see proof. Y'all lying. Y'all need to do y'all research. I know for a fact she ain't lying. How do you know for a fact that someone is not lying when you don't even know them in real life? Do y'all see the mentality of it all? But see, I keep telling you all about some of these people. They get so caught up in the internet and they just sit there and follow that darn cute algorithm and let them lead them on down to la la land. Okay, like following the yellow brick road, honey. They don't want to listen to the truth. The truth is just too much for them. They rather listen to lies and foolishness. Okay, but you know, if that's what you want to do, rock out. But if you come on this channel, you're going to get the truth whether you like it or not. And if you don't want the truth, then hey, I would advise you to not come on here. I would advise you to not come on here. Miss Sheila said weirdos. I mean, it is weird, right? Hey, Karima, at the end of the day, it's all crazy, honey. But anyway, I'm about to hold on. I was about to let y'all go, but I forgot. Hold on. Now let's talk about this because they say the Latinos are ecstatic over Trump's executive order on cartels. So let's get into it. We're about to be out of here in a minute, though. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. Now, this was reported about 6 hours ago. Said they are beyond thrilled. All right. Curious Potato said you can't handle the truth. I know that's right, Curious Potato. Some people actually can't.
President Trump signing a long list of executive orders on border security. Tony Delgado, who's co-founder of Latino Wall Street, joins me now. Tony, great to have you here. You say many Latinos that came to the U.S. legally are absolutely fed up with open borders. Are you okay with closing the border and finishing the war?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you can gaslight other Americans about the border crisis. You can gaslight them about the cartels and say that it's racist propaganda. But we know for a fact that the cartels are real, that the crime in Mexico is real. Ask any real Mexican, and they're going to tell you that there is no law and order in Mexico. There is no justice. The police are scared of the cartels in Mexico. And that's why all the Latinos that I know, they're ecstatic. They're extremely happy that President Trump signed the executive order to classify the cartels as terrorist organizations, because they are. Yes. They are. They rape, they steal, they kill, and they commit crimes. And I think the Mexican government has been unable to clean up the cartels. So I'm excited for the U.S. to step in.
Do you think that Trump has the right approach to crack down on these illegal border crossings? Will it be effective?
Absolutely. He has every single right. It's actually a human rights violation what's going on at the border right now. I had a private roundtable meeting with Tom Homan last week in Naples, Florida, with the Young Republicans. And he told us that close to 80% of women who are crossing the border are being raped by the cartel. Instead of the immigration process being handled by the American authorities in a humane way, the way it's supposed to be handled, the cartels are charging innocent women to cross the border, and they're falling into human trafficking, they're falling into drug trafficking, and it is really a human rights violation what's happening at that border, so we need to clean it up.
President Trump getting pushback for his deportation plans. What do you make of those plans?
Well, listen, when I had the meeting with Tom Homan, he said that there's three priorities that the president has given him: So number one is to secure the border, right? It makes no sense to deport people if they're just going to be able to come in and continue to come in illegally. Number two is to get rid of the bad guys. Their focus for this next 100 days is going to be on going to the jails. President Biden changed the rules a lot. It used to be the case that if you were here illegally and then you committed a second crime, right? The first crime is crossing the border illegally, and you committed a second crime, that was automatic deportation. It's a no-brainer. You just broke the law. In these Democrat cities like New York, California, Chicago, they've been releasing these people. So they've been releasing them on bail back into the communities. So his second order is to go to the jails and start the deportation process. And the third is to find the children. We have 400,000 children who are missing at the border. We have no idea where they are. So his third directive is to find the children.
Last one for you, Tony, and I have to ask this. You're a former Democrat turned Trump supporter. What made you switch?
So I worked for the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Independent campaign. And I really feel that the MAGA movement, this is not about Democrats. This is not about Republicans. This is like the new Patriot Party. It's both sides coming together. It's the unity party to make America great again. And one last thing, if we clean up the cartels and we actually are able to stop the crime that's happening at the north of Mexico, that's going to make Mexico great again.
There you go. Well, it's a great place to leave it right there. Tony Delgado, thank you, sir, for joining.
Okay, listen, you guys, we got to talk about Trump and the DEI, okay? We're going to talk about that and then we're out of here. But listen, I meant to tell you all something that I found out about Biden the other day that's very shocking. I shouldn't say it's shocking because really I already had a suspicion, but just for it to be verified is absolutely nefarious. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, okay? Because I don't have the video right now and I don't feel like looking for it. But I can't believe I forgot to tell you all about this. It's all crazy. Trump's message to corporate America: stop illegal DEI or face investigations. I like your nerve, Trump. I like your nerve. Okay, just days after taking office, President Donald Trump sent a clear message to corporate America: follow the federal government's lead and end illegal DEI discrimination or face civil rights investigations. Trump's executive order aims to end DEI in the federal government and affirmative action in federal contracting. It bars the government from pushing contractors to diversify their workforce and taps federal agencies to use civil rights era laws to combat illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. DEI policies undermine our national unity as they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional Americans' values of hard work, excellence, and individual achievement in favor of an unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious identity-based spoil system. This is what the order says. The widely anticipated action to overturn decades of affirmative action and diversity precedent is expected to have an immediate chilling effect on corporate DEI efforts. While the federal government does not have a direct say over the private sector's diversity practices, it has wide purview over companies that depend on federal funding or hold government contracts. Now, they say these actions freeze DEI operations in the federal government with the anticipation of the end of such programs. This is what Jonathan Butcher, a senior research fellow with the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank, says, saying corporations should recognize that racial discrimination and racial preferences will no longer go unchallenged by Washington. Trump's executive order fulfills his campaign's pledge to terminate DEI and reverse Joe Biden's work takeover of America, goals championed by his close allies and cheered by crowds at his rallies. Trump has cast DEI as illegal discrimination against white Americans. Honey, I want y'all to pay attention. Not discrimination against the good old white folk. But let me continue. Trump advisor and Tesla billionaire Elon Musk has called DEI just another word for racism. So now we're the racists. It's all crazy. DEI spending is also a priority of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency. Now, they say this is going to start a tidal wave of companies self-censoring and cutting back on those types of DEI efforts for fear of litigation with the federal government on the other end of that, says Joseph Seiner, a law professor at the University of South Carolina. Even if they're doing everything that complies with federal law, they could still find themselves subject to an investigation, which could be expensive and timely to defend against. Now, coming less than 5 years after George Floyd's murder, this led corporations to embrace greater equality in their workforce and leadership ranks. Civil rights leaders warned the rollback, telegraphed in the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, threatens to reverse the progress women and people of color have made in the workplace over the past 6 decades. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know we had made any progress, quite frankly. Okay, this still looks like Jim Crow era as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Now, diversity and civil rights advocates say affirmative action policies are still needed to fight discrimination in cubicles and executive suites and on factory floors. Each year, thousands of companies land federal grants serving hot meals or manufacturing missile defense systems. For decades, taking a slice of the hundreds of billions of U.S. government spends each year on goods and services came with anti-discrimination strings. Now, in 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed an executive order holding federal contractors to a higher standard than other employers in ensuring that women and people of color have equal opportunities in hiring, training, and promotions. Nearly 6 decades later, an analysis by USA Today of federal contractors' data obtained by Reveal from the Center of Investigative Reporting showed those firms were not living up to that commitment. Deep racial divides cut through the workforces of federal contractors, which employ 1 in 15 American workers. Though the employee ranks in these companies have diversified, the top jobs that command the best pay and benefits have not, mirroring the private sector at large, according to the analysis. Now, in less than 48 hours in office, President Donald Trump has eviscerated his promise to be a champion of workers, gutting basic workplace equal opportunity protections that have been in place for 60 years. Okay, this is what Fatima Graves, CEO and president of the National Women's Law Center, said in a statement. So these protections, she says, were enforced by the Department of Labor, and by removing this important watchdog, Trump has opened up workers to workplace discrimination. Employees pledged to stand by their DEI policies. Tim Bartle, the CEO of the HR Policy Association, which represents hundreds of senior human resource executives across the country, said that his organization would work with the Trump administration to ensure America's largest employers can seek the best talent regardless of race, sex, religious beliefs in order to win in the marketplace. This EO hasn't changed the law, nor has it altered the commitment employers have to inclusive workplaces designed to attract and retain the best qualified talent. Trump's executive order wiping out Johnson's is the latest in a series of moves to unwind affirmative action and diversity policies in America. Within hours of his swearing in, Trump revoked Biden's executive orders to weave DEI into the fabric of the federal government. An incoming White House official told reporters Monday that more DEI actions were coming from the private sector. Even before Trump took office, companies scaled back their corporate diversity efforts to align themselves with his administration. Now, last week, Amazon and Meta became the latest to make substantial changes. The push to end diversity initiatives began during Trump's first term and has grown since he's been out of office. Over the last few years, the private sector under fire from conservative foundations, think tanks, and political operatives have dialed back diversity efforts. Those changes accelerated shortly after the Supreme Court in 2023 struck down affirmative action in higher education, and as attitudes among U.S. workers on DEI began to shift. Anti-DEI activist Bobby Starbuck's pressure campaigns on social media have forced more than a dozen companies to make DEI concessions, from Tractor Supply to Walmart. I see a lot of people saying DEI is dead. It's not. This is what Starbucks said on X. It's cornered and it's in position to die, but we must be punishing and relentless in finishing this ideology off. No mercy. I bet y'all still gonna be shopping at Starbucks with that high RS coffee. All right, to that end, Trump has stocked his administration with anti-DEI allies from Vice President J.D. Vance's who as an Ohio senator introduced legislation that would prohibit government contractors from using federal funds for DEI initiatives, to Trump's deputy chief of staff for policy, Stephen Miller. Ooh, honey, that Stephen Miller, he is nefarious. Y'all already know about him. That's the one that previously was writing Trump's speeches and all that back when he was running for president before. He's a whole wanton supremacist. So please pay attention. Do your research if you missed that video that I did on him. Matter of fact, the video that I did right after Trump got in office, or after he won the election, but not before he was sworn in. But the video that I did about those tariffs and how they're going to cost consumers, yeah, that's where I talked about Stephen Miller. Now, who filed dozens of legal actions against woke corporations. Trump tapped Andrea Lucas, a vocal DEI critic, to lead the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which has vast influence over U.S. employers. Lucas said that she would root out unlawful DEI-motivated race and sex discrimination. Now, in December, Trump asked Harriet Dillman to lead the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, touting her record for suing corporations who use woke policies to discriminate against their workers. Now, the Civil Rights Division was formed in 1957 to enforce laws to stop discrimination against Black people and other historically marginalized communities. Okay, so what do y'all have to say about all of this? What do you all have to say about it? Queen Sam says Starbucks doesn't want you to use their bathrooms or work for them. Let's not forget how they did those 2 Black real estate agents, okay? Who were in there just waiting for their friend to show up that day. All right, Aubrey says World War III is coming. Miss Sheila says the light, which is the left, is now judging the dark, which is the left. All roads are going to lead us back to Rome. It's deep. I wish I had time to break it down. It's biblical. Honey, it absolutely is. Queen Sam said, boy, they are trying to kill the word woke. Oh, I know, right? It's really funny when we start using a word, how they try to demonize it. But honey, don't let them stop you from using it, okay? Because at the end of the day, this is all done by design, because that's a word of empowerment. See, they want everybody to be lulled back to sleep. That's what they want. Okay, and so anyway, Miss Shield says, sorry, the right. I know what you meant, beloved. Okay, Lily X said, Babylon is falling. Needed some Mike's word, said exactly, Queen. Okay, so anyway, that's the news for now. I'm gonna be about to be out of here. Okay, Queen Sam said, I haven't forgotten. They should have sued for more money. Exactly, definitely. Okay, Aubrey said it's called mockery. All right, so everyone, please like and share. Listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this night. I will see you all tomorrow. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Till next time, peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin. God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. Shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people. I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?